Hey guys, welcome back. It is Christmas time, and a lot of the people that I subscribe to have been making Christmas videos, either Christmas kit builds or Christmas style decorations or all sorts of Christmassy stuff. So I sort of wanted to do my own Christmas video. Only problem is, I'm not that great at the 3D printing things. I can't really design cool circuits yet. I just don't have the knowledge. And, well, honestly, I just want to do something different. I didn't order any kits or anything, so we got to do something different. So here I have an Arduino Uno clone. This is nothing special. This is only about, I don't know, $3 on eBay or something like that. They're not very expensive. And when I plug it in, you'll see it has the default blink sketch. That's the LED that flashes on for a second, turns off for a second. And I thought it'd be pretty cool to try my hand at my own Christmas decoration using only the blink sketch. Now, the blink sketch. Well, as we know, the blink sketch is about 1 second of logic level low, and then about 1 second of logic level high, followed by 1 second of logic level low, followed by 1 second of logic level high, and this repeats ad infinitum, or whenever your battery runs out. So to make this simple, I decided, okay, I want something that'll run around 5 volts. But blinking a single light on and off isn't quite Christmassy enough. So I figured, why don't we blink 2 lights? It should be fairly simple, right? Because you have a high cycle and a low cycle. So you can turn something on the low cycle and turn something on the high cycle and have them alternate. So that's definitely a possibility. However, I'm not that great at electronics, right? Hence the channel, Simple Electronics. The point is to be simple. So it actually took me quite a bit of thinking to come up with something. So let me show you what I came up with. So I have a RGB LED, and how it works is it kind of looks like this. Okay, so you have R, G, and B. Now, blue is not super Christmassy, so I just ignored the blue, and then I have a red and green LED. The red and green LED flashing back and forth should be pretty Christmassy, and it also suits my needs. Again, I wanted to challenge myself to only use the blink sketch. So okay, so I got this RGB LED. I bent up the blue leg. We're left with the red and the green. It's on, I'm not sure which one is which, and this is the common anode. So they're all commoned up at this point here. All right, so let's start with the simple circuit. So we know that the Arduino, at least on this one, I'm not sure if it's all of them, but on this one, the LED is tied to pin 13. So if I check pin 13, I should see there's 5 volts, then 0 volts, then 5 volts, then 0 volts. All right, so let's start with the easiest thing is to light one of these LEDs. These are light emitting. They are not just regular diodes. So we'll go pin 13. So let's say we'll start with, I think low is the easiest. So low. So low is basically circuit ground, like that. Okay, now I'm going to need a resistor. In this case, I chose 150 ohms, I think. Pardon the crappy writing. And then my LED in this direction. And then I could use another resistor, and you'll see why I use this other resistor a little bit later, and hook that one up to the positive rail. So from the positive rail through 250 ohm resistors to ground. So basically when this goes high, I should get one of my colors. So let's build this section on a breadboard, and I'll prove to you that it does work. Okay, so here is the diagram we just drew. Here's my LED. We're going to stuff this kind of randomly in whatever holes we can find. Okay, and now I'll tilt it this way so you guys can see the pins a bit better. Okay, so now my Arduino already has power, so I'm going to use the power and ground from my Arduino. So 5 volts and ground. I believe ground is the third pin. 5 volts is the fourth. Okay, I think I got that in right. Okay, so ground and power here. So now my breadboard should have power going to it, which is nice. Okay, so power, 150 ohm resistor. So one of these guys here. And where do I go? I go to the common anode, between common anode and power. Okay, that's done. Then I need my diode. Got it. And then I need another 150 ohm resistor. So this guy right here, same value. And I need that to go to pin 13. So I'll just break this out here, move this over here. So just have a resistor jumping off onto the side here. Then we'll grab pin 13. 13 is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there. Oops, right next to it. There. Okay, so simple enough. We now have a green LED flashing. Now actually, I think I'm going to swap this around and make this the red LED. And you will see why in a moment. These can be a struggle to, there we go. Okay, so we have a red LED. Now to me, this section is the easiest section to install, the easiest thing to figure it out. I had this portion figured out in all of 10 seconds, right? This isn't the big deal. When this LED is low, that means it acts like a ground, or it pulls the pin to ground, which means the positive is fed into the common anode of this LED package, and then the red leg is pulled to ground, which effectively turns it on. But now how do we pull the green leg to ground when the LED is lit on a high state? That's what I was agonizing over for the longest time. So follow with me. This may not be the best and most efficient way to do it, but this is how I got it to work, and I got it to work very well. So now we have pin 13, so I'll take pin 13, and now we need it to be a positive, logic level high. It's going to be at 5 volts. How do we switch the green leg of the LED to ground? Well, this is the idea I came up with. So pin 13, 150 ohm resistor. I tend to do this to use always the same resistors because I just happen to take whatever out of my junk drawer and I work with that. But that's not always the case. So to 150 ohm resistor, then to, I'm going to draw it this way, the base of an NPN transistor. This transistor pulled to ground. This end of the transistor will end up at our LED. And our LED, if you remember, is already pulled through a 150 ohm resistor to power. So basically, when pin 13 goes high, it'll activate the base of this transistor, which will allow current to flow from here through this 150 ohm resistor, through the green leg of the LED, and back to ground. And if you add these two together, what you get is this much nicer circuit. So when pin 13 goes low, current will flow through this 150 ohm resistor, through this red LED, through another 150 ohm resistor to ground. When it goes high, it'll turn off this LED because there's high on both sides. So it turns off this LED, but it turns on the base of this transistor, NPN transistor, which will allow current to flow through this LED and out to here. And so this will get a switching effect. So you'll be able to switch this LED from one to the other using the same pin. So let's try to build that right now. So here we go again. Our original circuit still functioning. So now if we follow the current path of this other LED, we'll see it goes from positive to through a 150 ohm resistor, the exact same one that was there from before, to the common anode. Now from this leg on this side, we need to attach the collector of an NPN transistor. So this transistor is a 2N3904, and the collector, so if you're looking at it this way, the collector is on this side. So for our application, I'm going to face it away from the camera, like so. Okay, pretty sure that's in the correct pin. It's hard to see because I'm kind of far from the camera. Now we need to connect the other side of this to ground. So I will take this red lead, go from here to ground. Okay, so far so good. And then I need to connect pin 13 to the base of the NPN using a resistor. Well, pin 13 is already coming in over here. So I'll connect myself right here. Whoop. Careful because I'm shorting out sections of this circuit. And I will drop it right into the base. And as long as nothing touches, there we go. So we have a green and red Christmas style LED decoration that we have created using only the Blink sketch that comes preloaded into an Arduino. And at the same time, I get to say Happy Christmas and all the holidays, and also thank you for the 1,000 subscriber mark. If you can think of a more efficient way to do this, using fewer components or fewer connections or whatever, let me know in the comments below, because I would actually like to try to simplify this. As it is right now, we've got 2 LEDs or 1 RGB LED. We've got 1 signal transistor. We've got 3 150 ohm resistors and 2 jumper leads. Technically, these aren't really necessary. They're here to power the breadboard, but you can build this all into a hat that fits on top of the Uno. But really, I really would like to know if you guys can think of an even simpler design. As always, thanks for watching.